Welcome back. So in the last video, we were able to get the user data from the profile table and we inserted the values into the input field. Now what we want to do here is we want to update the data. So when the user clicks on the update button, the values will be updated in the profile table. So the first thing we need to do, we check if the update button is set. That is checking if the post method is set. So we use is set, then post, the post super global, which takes in the update as the name of the update button. Then the next thing is we need to clean the data before they are inserted into the database. So here we already have this data obtained or fetched from the database, and now they are set as the values in the input field. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to paste the code here, because this is already what we had inside the complete profile page. Here, the user email, which is this user email, or the one that the user will add or update. We're using the MySQL real escape string, which takes the connection and the value. This is the value from the input field for email, first name, last name, gender, intro. Then for the user image, we are using this file super global, taking the name of the image, then this property here, image. Then we are storing it inside a temporal variable, taking also the image, which is the name of the image, and this value here. Then from here, which is being stored in the temporal location on the server, we are moving with this move upload file to the images folder in our project. So we are using this. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to fetch the profile picture of the user. That is, if the user clicks on the update button without changing the user image, we want the user image already in the profile table to be used. Because if we don't get it, then if the user clicks on the update button, the image field or the image row in the database will be blank. So we don't want that to be blank. So what we need to do is we check if the field for the image is empty. So we say if empty, that is the user image. If it's empty, then we need to fetch the data. So we use this query, which says query equal MySQLi query, takes in the connection, and we pass in the query statement. So we say select all from profile where user ID is equal to the session ID. So we are making use of the session ID. So we are saying select all from, or we can say select image. But since we are going to use the while loop, we can say select all from profile where user underscore ID is equal to the session ID. So the next thing is, since we already created the query, we want to fetch the data. So we loop through the database, create a variable row, set it equal to MySQLi fetch array, and it takes the query. So we want to get the image, we can use user image equal to row with the name of the image. So we fetch the image. So if the user doesn't change the image in the edit page, then we'll fetch this image from the database and still insert or update the field with this particular image. So we've fetched the image from the database. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to write the query. So I'll paste the query in here. So we'll go through it. Now this is what we have. Here we are using the count variable, which we obtain here to count the rows for the user. Then we're saying if count is less than or equal to 0. That means if the user does not have any data in the profile table, then the user has to complete the profile before they can update. So we alert this message, say please complete your profile before you can update. Else, if the user has data, that is, if there are data inside the profile table and we added them in the input fields, then we are going to use the updates query. So here we say updates, then equal, use this command, update profile. Then we set, what we are doing here is we are concatenating instead of just writing all of this on one line. So we are moving on to the next line, then concatenating with this. So we set the first name equal to this first name we have here. Same for the last name, email, gender, the intro, the image, which is going to be this image or this particular image. Then the date time, we are using the now function, which will take the current time or current date. Then the last thing is we are setting the condition where user ID is equal to session ID. So this update will only work where the user ID, that is the logged in ID of the user, is equal to the session ID which we stored. So this is how we update using the updates query. So when the user clicks on the button, the data in the database will be updated. So I'll stop here for now. In the next video, we'll continue with it.